Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Ace Frehley studio album, 10,000 Volts. First off, just some fast album facts. This album is the follow-up to Origins from 2020, and it's the 10th Ace Frehley studio album overall outside of Kiss if you include Origins and the two Frehley's Comet albums, and it was released today on February 23rd, 2024. Time for John's 5, my top 5 favorite songs from the new album. Coming in at number 1, I gotta go with Fightin For Life. Great rockin' song here, definitely the heaviest on this record, and by far my favorite song. The lyrics are great, kind of similar in lyrical themes, I think, to Hard Times or Bronx Boy, but borderline anthemic, I think, for Ace Frehley here. Killer guitar solo, too, and, for all of Ace's shortcomings later on in his career, the guy can still rip a great solo when he needs to. Coming in at number 2, we had the lead single, the title track, that being 10,000 Volts. Makes for a great album opener, in my opinion. It's built on a classic Ace Frehley riff here, and the chorus is really catchy. The solo is one of Ace's strongest on the album as well, and they've played it live a few times, Ace and his band, and it doesn't sound nearly as good live, but Ace Frehley's live sets have really deteriorated lately, but I think Ace sounds really good here with some great production to, really clean things up. So with that in mind, 10,000 Volts sounded great when it was released and definitely got me excited for the album as the lead single. So I think it's definitely a modern-day Ace Frehley classic track here. Very strong stuff and probably the most memorable from this album, even though it's not my favorite. It's probably my second favorite here, 10,000 Volts. Very strong title track. Number 3 is the song I was most looking forward to, and that's Back Into My Arms Again. This song has been demoed for years, going back to the Frehley's Comet era, so to have this finally released by Ace is really cool. To have it finally reach the, the light of day on a studio album is awesome. I think the song could have been a decent-sized hit for Ace Frehley had it been released back in the 80s. It's poppy, but kind of in the same vein as Into the Night or It's Over Now from Frehley's Comet, so great throwback to that era of Ace and Frehley's Comet there, and something that I think could have come out of, those first two albums. So with that in mind here, it's a great throwback track, and I really enjoy it. Back Into My Arms Again is a song where the demos have been out there for years, but great to hear a finalized version make it to a studio album here, and again, I was really looking forward to hearing how this track would sound. At number 4, I'm going to go with Cosmic Heart. Bit of a slower, more plotting track here, but I think the song is structured nicely and does a good job of building up to the chorus. Another fun sing-along track for sure. Rounding out John's 5 here, I'm going to go with Walkin On The Moon. The music video for this track is hilarious, probably the most memorable part of this song, but I really dig the guitar work on this one as well. I think the chorus is quite an earworm too, so it just wouldn't be an Ace Frehley album without an outer space themed song, but no kidding, when I first read the track listing for this album when it first, dropped, I thought this was going to be a Police cover, which would have been really interesting, but maybe for Origins Volume 3. Ultimately, this album is exactly what I expected from Ace Frehley. He says things like this is going to be the best album he's ever done, it's going to make Paul Stanley look like an imbecile, and all those things. None of that is true, right? This album is not as strong, I think, as Spaceman from 2018 or his two Origins projects, and you could tell a lot of work has been done in the studio to make Ace sound a lot stronger vocally than he is. If you see his live shows, they're not what they used to be, to put things nicely, but I can't imagine any of these songs will remain in Ace's live set for too long, especially considering the fact that his touring band has just no chemistry with him at all. I mean, those guys can barely play the classic stuff with him, so on a positive side, though, I do think this album is, a very fun listen. It's a harmless album here, very guitar-centric with clean production as well by Steve Brown, and some great high points like Fightin For Life, Back Into My Arms Again, and the title track. So to be honest, I'm just happy to have new Ace Frehley music and still have Ace around making new stuff. If you look at it, Peter Criss is retired, Kiss are done, Ace is kind of the last man standing here, and this album is fine for what it is. I've given it a few listens already, and hopefully it grows on me a little more. I'm going to give it more listens here, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for now. Solid album for sure, not as strong as his previous studio efforts, I think, over the past few years, but still a fine album here, and it definitely has its high moments. So that wraps up my review of the new Ace Frehley studio album, 10,000 Volts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new upload, and let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on 10,000 Volts? Did it live up to the hype that Ace Frehley had built up for it? I want to hear from you. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody.